If that scene too closely resembles your daily routine, waking up late, rushing off to shul, and barely making it in time, click that like button. Today on Bnei HaNeviim, we're going to be discussing 10 battlefront tactics of how to arrive on time at shul, so you're not out of breath, you're not late, you're making it on time, and you have a few minutes or a few moments at least to get settled and be in the right mindset before you dive into Hashem. So you woke up, you brushed your teeth, you put on your pants, your socks, your shirt, your jacket, your kippah. You're set, right? You're ready to go? Wrong. Step number 1 is to put on your shoes. What I started doing recently is actually putting on my shoes well in advance before going off to shul or anywhere you need to go. Once you have your shoes on, you sort of have your mindset. I'm ready to leave the house at a split second's notice. You're ready to go, you're ready to get on the road, and I feel that helps a lot as opposed to getting to the door and then taking 5 minutes to tie your shoes, find your shoes, and getting everything. You have to wash your hands again. So having your shoes on in advance really helps the process and speed you out the door without any distractions. Number 2 is a pretty obvious one, and I don't think I know too many people who don't do this, but is wear a watch. Basically, the idea is you want to have that time awareness. You want to know how much time you need to get ready and to be out the door and to be there on time. And at the same time, you want to sort of have a time check every time. Sometimes you get distracted, you're doing this and that, you're getting coffee ready for your spouse, you're doing something else. Have that time awareness so you know, okay, you have an order of priority. What do I have to skip? What do I have to do to get out the door? Because sometimes your Yetzer Hara can work at you and get you to do 20 different things, which is besides the point of getting to shul on time. One point that's relevant to this is that if you know the shul that you go to has a specific clock that they follow or the Shaliach HaTzibur follows, you want to align your clock to the clock that's there at shul, because sometimes clocks can have discrepancies. You might be a minute off or two, and that could make or break you being on time. So what you can do is actually set your clock to make sure it's identical to the clock where you're frequenting, so that you're on time with them, and there's nothing going to be stopping you from being there on time, and no excuses. Some people find it helpful to have like a 30-minute reminder in their alarms, but I think that's mostly relevant for Mincha and Mariv. But for Shachrit, if you have an alarm to wake you up in the first place, I think that should be sufficient. And just having that time awareness throughout the whole process of getting ready, that should be enough to get you there on time. Okay, point number 3 is to keep a spare sitter, either in your car or in the table where you daven at shul. If you have a specific sitter you like to use, I think this is mainly relevant for Sephardim because we live in a community that's if you're not in Israel, mostly Ashkenazi, so Sephardim I generally like to have their own sitters that they like to follow. So for me, I keep one spare sitter in the car, so in case I forget my main sitter that I use, I have a spare in the car just in case, so I don't have to rush back home or just use my phone or anything like that. I have a set sitter waiting for emergency use. Point number 4 is really to be aware of the importance of being a shul, and if you have a greater awareness of this, and the halachas of what kind of reverence goes into the shul, is where you shouldn't walk in with your wallet or your cell phone. You turn your cell phone on silent or off. You keep it outside in your car. A lot of places have little cubbies that they can keep your cell phone in, so you don't enter the shul with any distractions. If you have that appreciation, you build that. You learn all the halachas of having reverence for the shul and how holy this place is. I think that'll definitely build your appreciation for being on time as well. You have to look at it as a meeting with Hashem 3 times a day, where if you appreciate the importance of that meeting, you will be on time. And the idea is if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. So it's the same thing with shul. You want to come there, like I said in the beginning, you want to have a few moments to settle your thoughts, just clear your thoughts of anything else, and just be there, be in the moment, and just be ready for what you're about to do. Many of us are rushing around from place to place all day, so you want to lower your heartbeat when you get to shul, so that you're not pumping 100 times a minute. Just make sure that you're relaxed and calm and speaking to Hashem with the proper kavanah. Point number 5 is to park strategically. Most of us get to shul by car. Most of us have different exit points, either our house or apartments. I live in a building, so I can either park in the garage, where I have to take the elevator all the way down to the 2nd floor garage and then take my car up and circle around twice until I get to the garage door and wait for the garage door to open. If I know that I'm going to be leaving very soon, especially for Mincha or Mariv, I'll generally park my car at the most convenient exit point so that I take less time to get there. So, just small points of awareness like that will help you save 30 seconds a minute and that could make it or break it sometimes when things come up at home. Also with the driving is that be aware of your route. You take a certain route every day. Don't just drive mindlessly and just ignore everything that's going on around you. So certain lights actually take longer to turn to green. Certain lights will give an advanced green to people turning left. Sometimes instead of taking a left turn, it might be easier to go straight through the light, take a U-turn, and then take a right turn to go back to the street you were intending to go left on. So be aware of that. Number 6 is to know how long you need to get ready in the morning or in the evening after you come home for work and different things like that. Be real with yourself, and in most cities there are different minyanim, so plan your minyanim accordingly. If you know you need an hour to get ready after you get home at 6, don't go for the 7:30 minyan where you're going to be rushing out the door. Try maybe a later minyan might be more helpful for you. You may have to drive an extra 2 or 3 minutes to get to the later minyan, but in the long term, I think it's worth it so that you get there with a few minutes to spare. You can sit down, relax, and daven with kavanah. Point number 7 is to daven to Hashem, that you actually make it on time. Davening is not solely reserved for when you're in the minyan. I think a lot of people misinterpret the meaning of davening. Davening, the Rambam says, and the whole idea of brachot is that so you actually train yourself to seek out Hashem even in the moments when you're not davening. So in everyday life, even the smallest occurrence happens, you want to be aware of Hashem's presence there and His ability to help you, and He can just remove many distractions and obstacles from your way so that you do make it on time. So really, if you show Hashem that you are interested in being on time and you value being there, Hashem is like in a certain sense like the ultimate chess player. You're his pawn in the puzzle, or his king, queen, bishop, whatever you want. He can remove any obstacles in your way so that you do make it on time, and He'll clear an open path for you to make it seamlessly. At the end of the day, we can make all the efforts in the world, and if Hashem doesn't want something to go down, it's not going down. That's how Hashem Sheshkacha runs in the world. So davening to Hashem can open up the pathways and make things much easier for you. This one is the most intuitive one. I think most people are aware of this. Wake up on time. And really the hardest part is to go to sleep on time, because if you're not going to sleep on time, chances are you're not waking up on time. So make sure that you're consistent with yourself, you're realistic with yourself, be aware of how much sleep you need so that you're not constantly pushing the snooze button on your alarm clock. Once you wake up on time, you're usually flying, you're flying through the breeze the rest of the day, everything goes smoothly. Everyone has to really deal with that one on their own. Number 9, that's right, get a helicopter.
Run! Get to the chopper!
So not actually the chopper part, but actually running. Running is a very big key aspect to getting places on time. But hopefully now, after following the previous 8 steps, you're not running because you're in desperation and you're late, but because you want to be early. That's the difference. Running, a lot of the poskim say, is a very big merit, and it's a very big mitzvah, and actually the sweat you do in order to, when you run to shul, that could also erase the averot, any averot that you have in your hands. It also in a way tries to build that excitement so that when you're going to shul, a little bit of running or jogging and putting thoughts that you're going to be there at shul and build you that excitement, that's also a very key aspect. So if you have to run, and if you have the ability to run. And actually a lot of poskim say that even if a lot of people may be looking, it's like, where's this Jew running off to? And they'll look at you funny. Even still, that just building that excitement inside you and to get to shul and to daven to Hashem, that's in itself important and an important aspect. Point number 10, last but not least, is that if you're late, don't let it get you down. You're at shul to daven to Hashem, don't let that distract you or get you down or frustrated. That's just going to take any of that kavanah you had, and if you're late, you're probably also out of breath and you're trying to rush to make it there. Don't let the extra frustration bring you down. At the end of the day, you're there, you're davening to Hashem, and you follow the previous 9 steps. So, more or less, you have an excuse, but don't let that get you down, because any negative thoughts are just going to take away the potency of your tefillah. We all have busy lives. Many of us have kids, and we know the full plates we always have to deal with on a daily basis. But the main point is that you're there. At the end of the day, you made it there, and you didn't just give up before you left the door. You made it to shul, and you're there davening with everyone else. And B'ezrat Hashem, all our tefillahs will get up smoothly and safely. Hashem's there and He's listening, so keep that in mind always, and don't let anything else get you down. And as with always, with our videos here on Bnei HaNeviim, you can apply these tactics to any area of life, whether it's to davening or to get anywhere else in life. I feel like once you implement it in one area of life, you'll know how to implement it properly to everywhere else, and you'll sort of streamline yourself to become that person who makes it on time to anything. That's all we have for today on Bnei HaNeviim for real practical spirituality. We hope you enjoyed this video and can implement many of these tools. Hope to see you soon.